Yeah.
It's fascinating because I used to sit in the tree. I loved climbing. I loved getting in the trees, and we had a lot of trees around that house and the barnyard.
Awesome.
And I had my tree that I sat and talked to God. And I think from the age of 4 or 5, I sat in this tree and I talked to God. And I remember learning about Good Samaritans in
Yes.
Sunday school. And I came home and I got right in that tree and I'm like, okay, how do I do that? How do I be at the right place at the right time to like help people? What do I do to do that? I've had those. I can remember that type of conversation constantly. Yeah. And I remember when I tried to read the Old Testament. I think I was 11 or 12. And I tried to read the Old Testament, and I'm reading this book, and I'm like, sacrifice your son to prove you love me? What? And I remember slamming the book down and going to my tree and going, who are they talking about? Because that's not you.
Right.
Who is that? You would never ask somebody to do that. I knew that whenever I was talking to God, I was with unconditional love. They would never judge me and would always question me. He would never tell me what to do. He would always ask the questioning to get me to my own self-empowerment.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's God. That's when you feel every cell in your being embraced by love. Unconditional, all-encompassing love. That's when you're with God.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a wonderful reminder. That's been kind of hitting me on a similar but different level, like with me and the kids. I keep realizing that the more I am just telling them what to do and trying to make them do things, that's where the most resistance is, you know? And I actually realize, and again, this is training. Like I don't know how to do this. Like I was never a parent before, you know? I haven't even been around that many parents watching them parent, you know?
Your dad probably told you what to do. I mean, that's what everybody gets.
Right.
Right.
And I realized that, you know, if I can get to a place where I've changed my thought patterns in speech, where I'm asking them questions instead of just telling them things. You know, as soon as I go into lecture mode, and I probably got that from my dad. As soon as I go into lecture mode, like I can see it like they just turn off, like they don't want to hear it. You know, it doesn't matter that it might be useful or very good information. It's just if it's coming through as a lecture, you know, they tune out. And so I need to just work on finding a way where instead of saying, you know, this is what you should do, turn it into a question. Do you think this is something you should do? Do you think this would be good for you or bad for you or healthy for you? Right. You know, now they still might have the wrong response, but it completely changes the energy of it in the conversation and the response that you're going to get, you know. And that's God is it's not a God. This wouldn't all have been created for us, you know. Yeah. If he's just going to tell us what to do and how we have to live, and if we didn't have any choice in the matter, you know, it's all this grand, beautiful experience and experiment of learning and growing and understanding what unconditional love is and finding that connection and letting it out.
That's what I loved about the movie The Shack.
Yes.
Is that the portrayal of God was my experience with God. They don't tell you. She just kept asking questions.
Yeah. And
saying, well, why do you believe that? Well, why do you think this? You have no idea what I was just doing sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
That kind of concept and the whole free choice.
Yes.
You have free choice. I love you so much. So you tell me which of my children I should punish.
Yeah.
Which one deserves punishing when that's what they were taught? And I love that song, You've Got to Be Taught to Love and Hate, You've Got to Be Carefully Taught, by Rodgers and Hammerstein in the South Pacific. You've got to be carefully taught. Yeah. Love and hate.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's everything. We're in duality.
Right.
You know, it's learning it all, it's experiencing it all, and expressing it all.
And we can't know one without the other.
Right.
We can't know light without darkness.
Yeah.
Wasn't that in Conversations with God? You can't know one without the other.
Yeah.
And that's so true.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just listening this morning to Matt Kahn, who I love. He has such wonderful messages, and he was talking about pain and about how important pain is, and about when we're experiencing pain, it's because we're actually in the middle of a shift, of a vibrational shift, and we're like the pain is just something that's being triggered because of where we are and where we're headed, and it's not something that's bad. It's not something that we need to ignore. And one of the things he said too that really stuck with me was, people get into this conception of, well, if I have pain, then I'm not in joy. They're two completely separate things, and it's not one or the other. You can be experiencing something painful, and it doesn't mean that that's blocking you from joy. You're allowed to just feel that pain. You can be in that uncomfortableness.
True.
And love it.
Right.
And thank it and be grateful for it.
The
and it
landmark
completely changes the experience.
The Landmark Forum always said, you're in a breakdown. Keep pushing because your breakthrough is right there.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Yeah.
And you don't know you're ready for a breakthrough until you hit that wall, which is the pain.
Yeah.
Which is the discomfort.
Yeah.
But then there's the other concept that I've heard people say, Yanni said at one point, where if he is comfortable, he knows he's not growing. He's not pushing himself.
Yeah.
It's in the discomfort that you know you're growing.
Yep. Very true.
I love that.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
That's awesome.
And I think about that and go, oh, guess I'm a little too comfortable lately.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, breakthrough.
Yeah. All right. So, and speaking of messages and words from other people, one of the things I wanted to do with you was actually have you deliver a message from the wise ones. So we talked a little bit earlier about the wise ones, about it being this collective, and you're interpreting, their words, their energy, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yes.
I'll turn it back over to you. I don't know if there's something else you want to say about it, and then I want to actually have them deliver a message for everybody.
Okay. So the wise ones, I mentioned that they came the first in 2008, and I saw all these beings. And the wise ones were on this radio show that I was doing, and we were on about 10 times at this point, and they were well known, and they loved the person who was the producer, and they would razz him all the time. I mean, I'd get to the other side through my portal, and they'd be there clanking beer mugs and tell him they have a keg waiting for him in the green room, and running, ringing the New Year's, just different toys and things for New Year's and things on that nature. And this one time I went over to the other side, and they're all there, and it was over 1,500 beings, and all shapes and sizes, and some small and tall, and different colors, races, skin tones, ethnics. And at this particular time, all of a sudden they started to become light and diving into me. And I'm like, God, what's going on? Because my team, when I get to the other side, my wise counsel, I'm so blessed, is God, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, and sometimes Archangel Metatron and Sandalphon come in, or Mother Mary, so they come in and out. But so I'm there, and all my team's there, and they're just, the wise ones are diving into me, and I'm like, what's going on? And God said, they are you, you are them. And the show starts, and I'm like, and the guys that Joe said he could tell something profound had just happened, because I'm like, the bottom line that I discovered is the wise ones are the banks of wisdom that I achieved in every lifetime on earth.
Okay.
And here's the beauty of this. You all have your own wise ones. So it's a matter of tapping into that wisdom that we've accumulated in all of our lifetimes. And I think we're at the point now, especially in the fifth dimensional energies, that it's more easily to tap into them. Which I wanted to say earlier is, yes, we've learned tremendous tools, but a lot of those tools apply to 3D.
Okay.
And we're learning new tools for 5D, because now we're not the caterpillars that are inching our way along
No longer
step by
inchworms.
step,
Yeah.
goal by goal, to arrive at that delicious piece of the leaf. We are the butterflies, and we're looking at one joy point and saying, now where do I want to flit and fly? I want to, over there it looks good. It's that spiritual GPS where we don't map it out anymore. We don't look at a map and say point A to point B to point C to point D and to get to California. We turn on the phone and it says turn right, go 6 miles, turn left.
Right.
Rerouting, accident ahead, rerouting. That's kind of how we need to live right now, and live in taking that 3 breaths and saying, okay, what's next? Because it's our spiritual GPS.
Yeah.
So we are learning new tools. And one of the conversations that the wise ones just brought up in the last show I did on Sunday, how to unearth you, in my Awaken Your Light radio show, I want to expand on that for us right now.
Sure.
Because I think that that would be a wonderful conversation.
Sure.
So now when I go with the wise ones, I just get into this bank of light, and I'm in this like room of light, and I'm feeling and interpreting the light energy that's coming to me from all of these sources that are in this room. So let me just get centered. And get into this room. Hello, wise ones. Namaste, everyone. We are so excited to be here. We love these kind of conversations. Thank you, Greg, for having us.
Pleasure.
And yes, we have the beer waiting for you if you'd like to. We'll keep that green room going. And we're going to bring forth more information about what we said the other day, because Karen's accurate in expressing all of the information that we've been getting for you and bringing forth in these new time frames. So think about what you've heard about some of your studies in science, and they'll have different, whether it's a flea, whether it's a grasshopper, whether it's a fly, and they have them in a container, an aquarium, and they put a lid on it. And they leave them in that for a certain time frame. What happens is, within that structure, they learn how high they can jump. You take that lid off, and they're still only jumping to that ceiling that used to be there. So what we were saying in How to Unearth You, you're still jumping to the ceiling limitations that 3D put on you. Because you're no longer the caterpillars climbing on a leaf or a branch. Now you are beings that can flow in a higher vibrancy and a higher frequency. And actually, if you hang out on that branch, man alive, with the waves coming in, it's like the ocean waves with an undertow, and it's colliding, and you've got the negative energies, the dense energies, the anger, the unforgiveness, the judgment in your world. All of those energies are like a strong undertow. And then you're moving into the Aquarian constellation, which is a very, very, very high vibrational frequency. So you've got this high wave of energy coming in and this low wave of energy clashing with it. And you know what happens at the beach if you try to stand in that, boom, you're tumulted into the sand and rocks, and it doesn't taste good. So you've got these limitations still on you, whether it's self-inflicted. Something we didn't talk about is the sub-programming that Greg and Karen were talking about earlier, because you've got all these limiting belief systems that you were taught growing up. And then you've got the unconscious. So what happens in the unconscious is you were 5 years old and you had to get glasses, and the kids started to call you names and laugh at you and tease you, and you didn't understand why kids were being so cruel when all you wanted to do was be able to see the board or see things in life? Why are you getting called names for something like that? But especially if you were male, you were told, men don't cry. Just stuff it up and shut up and deal with it. And a lot of little girls were taught, you don't get to cry, you don't get to be, dramatic, you don't get to express yourself. So you bottled it. And all of those bottled emotions are stuffed away in the attic, in the eaves of the unconscious. Because what happens is, as you grow up, you just keep stuffing things in that attic. Think about a house and an attic. You just keep putting more boxes, and things keep pushing back and back and back and back and under those eaves. And so you don't even know that you don't know that they're still there and they're still running you. So you've got these pain bodies that are screaming, no, don't be seen. No, don't be a leader. You're going to get squashed again. People are going to laugh at you. People are going to call you name. No, don't do that. No, don't go near that guy you're attracted to. Because he's just going to hurt you too. He's going to reject you too. No, you cannot. You're not smart enough to go do that. That you can't go do that career or do that project or create a blog or do videos, because no, you're not smart enough. Your family or your father or your mother or your siblings or your friends or your teachers told you that. So you have all of these hurts that are fake ceilings, and they're stopping you from expanding. And especially now, it's so important that you move with these waves of energy and you don't allow the fear to stop you, because it's going to tumult you. It's going to crush you into walls. Talk about those walls, the pain. It's the resistance of what you really want to do. It's you're scared to do what you want to do and what your heart is filled with and what your desires are because of those limitations you have. So how do you unearth you? You've got to unearth the pain bodies, the fears that are there running you that you don't know are there. Now, some of you are lucky enough that you have mirrors come up in life. You may have a movie show you something. You may have a show. You may have a friend. You may see something on the news. You may have something happen at work. There are opportunities in life to uncover these for yourself. Most people don't know how to deal with it or how to let it go or what to do. I mean, we can give you a very simple methodology, is you've got to just say, I forgive everyone and everything and all the hurts and all the pain that's been sent my way, that I owned unknowingly. I owned not understanding that it wasn't mine to own. Especially if you're empathic, you're going to be somebody who took this all in and thought, why did they think this of me? Why are they saying this about me? This isn't mine. Why aren't they seeing who I am and knowing who I am? Why are we getting attacked all the time? Your empaths are going to have that something fierce. And literally you need to just start taking those darts out and those knives out and just do an eject button. Just touch your heart and eject all the spears and the pains and the darts and the things that were shot at you. It's not yours to own. Forgive yourself for not knowing how to handle it differently, because most of you didn't have that parent who taught you how to deal with that. Most of you didn't have the unconditional love and guidance that helped you empower yourself to know what decision to make. Most of you had the conversation of, I told you, you need to do, with the pointed fingers. And that's why as adults, when you get told what to do at work, you cringe because, no, don't tell me. And you butt heads. There's the old ram to ram butt head. So there's opportunities right now. There's many people out there that can assist you to get this. But really, the bottom line is you need to unearth you. You need to get out of the 3D thinking, which includes all the pain that you discovered, all the pain that you were taught. Because these waves coming in are love, they're high vibration, they're joy, they're vibrant health. And the two together, that's what's going on in your planet. You've got these two vibrations. You've got this love wave hitting your planet, which as of the last couple months, there's no longer any spheres out there that are breaking it down and minimalizing the effects of it. So now these waves are hitting full force, which is why you guys had January 2 full moons back to back in 1 month, and bookend months, and then you had the bookend March full moon spotlight, and it was all about spotlighting this unconscious, spotlighting all of these pains that are there, that are blocking you, spotlighting what those ceilings are that are false limitations. And they may be things you set up as a child because you did not know how to take care of yourself. I mean, come on, think about it. If you didn't have really, really wise, evolved parents, you didn't know how to deal with kids that were bullying you and belittling you. And there's not a soul on the planet that didn't go through some form of that. Not a soul. It is what it is. It's the duality you live in. It's the opportunity you live in. We did it. We walked that planet. We know. We know how painful it was. But we're also here to represent the wisdom you can achieve from it. And you have it too. So, deep breaths. Take the opportunity, because please remember that everything is duality. So everything has a pro and it has a con. All of you are getting hooked on the con, and then you go through life, well, why did this happen, why did this happen, why did this happen, and you try to resolve the problem in the problem. Look for the opportunity, and it's in the opportunity of what just happened or what happened in the past that you're going to glean the solution. You're going to glean the spiritual wisdom from it, and you're going to become a greater, more evolved spiritual being living a human experience. That's our message.
Awesome.
We had fun. Thank you. And we'll be back whenever you want us.
Thank you.
Namaste, everyone. Goodbye for now.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Karen. And if you want to learn more about Karen, you can visit her website, KarenCressman.com. And I'll put it in the comments, so you can have a link there and know how she spells her name. And you do a blog talk radio.
Yes.
Yes.
Awaken Your Light radio show. The first Sunday of the month is the Andromeda Council updates, where I'm taken, I never know where. I'm taken to a base on Mars, or a Galactic Federation meeting, or a multiversal meeting recently, or Inner Earth. So yeah, those are exciting. Those are wild. And then the second week of the month, I do a message from a being. The last one was the Central Sun. That was really empowering. To learn about the Central Sun, and her name is Zarnia. Or I work with Mother Earth. I work with the moon. I bring messages through. The sun brings messages through for all of the solstices. And on the fourth Sunday is the wise ones. Crazy, zany group of beings. So that's the fourth Sunday of the month. And you can call in to the second and the fourth and ask questions. So
nice.
That's wonderful.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, thank you very much, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you.
And we're actually going to have Karen back on doing some other things, some toning and some light language and things like that. So stay tuned for those episodes. right. Thank you.